Hi.
I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of issues.
No worries. We can hear you now.
Okay, great. I can't wait for you to hear so much more from Robert, but first, I want to tell you a little bit about the prophets. It's the story of two enslaved men named Isaiah and Samuel in antebellum South, and how their forbidden love and the human refuge they find in each other affects everyone on the plantation around them. I remember reading this manuscript for the first time and finding myself slowing down because I wanted to savor the lines and language. They were so deliberate and had their own rhythm. Robert, I called your agent, PJ Mark, the wonderful PJ Mark, the next morning, and I told him I knew the other editors were calling him excitedly, but that I refused to rush because this was a novel that deserved to be read carefully. But as beautiful as the language is, what's amazing is how quickly the pages turn. This book is also just so rooted in plot. And you see how Samuel and Isaiah's relationship comes to threaten their fellow slaves, the master's family, and how each page builds on this unbearable crescendo of tension. The story ends in such a climax that you don't see coming until it's actually happening, which is not easy to pull off. So, Robert, you said that the genesis for this book was a question.
Yes, it was. And that question was, what would it have been like to be Black and queer during antebellum slavery? Because through all my readings and all my research, I could not find any evidence of their existence. Whenever queerness was broached, it was in the context of sexual assault. And I thought, but what about love? And I could not find it in the canon. And I had to then listen to a command that was given by the incomparable Toni Morrison, who said, if you cannot find the book you want to read, you must write it. And that was the start. I had to write it.
So this book is undeniably dark because of all of its truths, but it also manages to be incredibly life-affirming and hopeful. And to me, I always describe this book as a celebration of love in all its forms and the heroic power of love. And while it may be an historical novel, its issues are so timely and so relevant as ever, and especially today, literally today. This is no coincidence, Robert, as you are the founder and the active curator of the very popular social justice platform, Son of Baldwin. How has your activism affected your art? And can you even separate the two?
No, I cannot separate the two. I'm writing from a tradition. I am obviously African American. I believe in the power of ancestral lineage. And I come from a people for whom art and politics and love and commerce and all of these things are intertwined. There is no such thing for the tradition I'm writing from of an art that is apolitical. It's almost impossible. No, it is impossible. And so for me, in curating and having conversations on Son of Baldwin, all of that was in the milieu. It is what informs me as an artist, as a writer. It is what powers my writing. It is I cannot imagine writing something that doesn't have some socio-political value. To me, that would be a waste of my time and talents. So for me, art is political. There is no that. What is art without a politics? Even in the most benign things, we think, for example, Clifford the Big Red Dog or Cat in the Hat. Even these children's stories have a politics, have a point of view. And to think that there is a plain apolitical point of view or a universal point of view that doesn't have a politics in it kind of proves the point that it does, because generally those books that are considered apolitical are usually being written from a white, a male, and a capitalist point of view. And that is a politics. And so my work is maybe a little bit more overtly political, but political.
I'm reminded of the beautiful endorsement Ocean Vuong gave you for this book. I won't read it in full, but the part that always has hit me is how he said, the prophets reminded him of how the best literature can be, quote, both a scalpel and a balm. And I'll also never forget something you said the very first time we talked. I still have it written down, that this is a story not of our ancestors' enslavement, but of their liberation.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? The book doing both things, being a scalpel and a balm.
That was, I want to say that was intentional, but it wasn't. It was natural. It wasn't intentional, but it was natural because I understand that the universe is not really a yin and yang, but it's something more complex and something more blended. And if you have misery, even in the most miserable times, you can find a bit of joy. And both of those things to me are politics. There is a politics of joy and there is a politics of misery. And when I think about my ancestors, I am reminded that even in the midst of this brutal, brutal antebellum slavery that they endured, they still found moments of love and intimacy, even when it was shattered. And even when the threat of loving someone, and it was a threat to love someone who could be snatched away at any moment, they still loved. They still loved. And so I had to honor that. I had to honor that. I couldn't just show the pain. I had to also show the.
I hope you can see me now. No?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
Okay.
Can't.
I am here now. So I wanted to hop on at the end because I figured out my tech, but also because I wanted to end with a surprise for you, Robert. Robert has no idea I'm doing this, but I was lucky enough to get some color proofs of the jacket sent to my house. This is something that we usually get in the office, and we, pour over the colors and make sure everything looks okay. So I did a little work on, my little workboard here, and I kind of just wrapped it around a book and did a little mock-up. So Robert, this is what the book will look like. This is the cover. This is wrapped around kind of a fake book here, but it just is such a statement of everything we've been talking about today. It's a hopeful cover, but it's also just so beautiful and kind of has all these different layers. And I'm just so happy to be able to show you and surprise you a little bit. This is what it's going to look like come January. So anyway, Robert, I'm going to bring this over and drop this off at your house. But Robert, with this book, you have shown us that you not only can be part of the conversation, but you're helping to lead it. And I can't thank you enough for bringing Samuel and Isaiah into our lives, for joining us today, for speaking to us today. I'm so glad. And I really, I know we missed being in the Javits together, but in some ways, tech issues aside, I'm so glad we were able to gather like this and that you will be able to reach as many people as we can and to talk to them in person. And I wanted to really thank you again, because this book has meant so much to so many of us at Putnam and at Penguin. And it's just such a joy and a treat to talk to you in front of all these people.
Thank you. It has been my complete honor, and I feel a tremendous sense of gratitude. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for the Prophets come this January. We're so excited to share it with you, and we'd love, love, love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here.